We're just sitting on the veranda again and having a beautiful breathing in, breathing out of that beautiful, fresh, clean air. It's just after the full moon, but it's a full flower day, and of course the full moon was the largest full moon of the year, and we thought it nice to taste just before Easter, to have a tasting of some wines that were made on the flower day. We have two super iconic wines today. One is the 2013 Legacy Chardonnay, and the other one is the 2016 Vanya. So the 2013 Flower Day was the first wine that we really made as an artisanal batch to demonstrate what the Flower Day does in the wines, both in terms of the harvest date and the barrels. So it was the first time we had biodynamic barrels harvested on that were made around the Flower Day calendar, which has meant the trees harvested on the Flower Day, and then the barrels are made. Every aspect of the barrel is made. The cutting of the wood, the firing, the putting together is on the Flower Day, and we get a little authentication certificate to say that that's happened. This one also, it was a single batch. It was a harvest day in a moment in time that sort of won't ever be repeated, probably, in that it's I don't know, we might not get a Moon Opposite Saturn Flower Day batch again, you never know. And we harvested it, so it's an unfined, unfiltered, and it's into barrel, and then just has nothing taken away from it. So it's a very pure expression of place. Whole bunch harvested and then sorted, and you can see that it's got a lovely sort of golden color. This wine, it's just always been a favorite, and it just tastes absolutely extraordinary because it is a full flower day today, and the aspects of having a flower day barrel and being made in that way is something really unique. And I think we've evolved that since this wine. We have really been evolving that artisanal batch of planetary harvest dates and wines at the top end level. We started this when we started with biodynamics in 2004. We have been harvesting around that calendar since then, and it really is interesting that sometimes you end up with a vintage with more flower days and some with more fruit days. Remember 2012, which was the first Vanya, we had more fruit days, so that all the Cabernet was harvested more or less on the fruit days and the full moon. So it was a big vintage that year, and we worked really hard to try and make that happen, and to most extent we were. And then, so this wine just sits, this Kevin John Chardonnay 2013. I mean, it's just a very different style to the 2013 Kevin John, in that it's just like a much bigger wine, and seems more, like about having great concentration and depth, and the Kevin John does have that. Like if you look at the 18, for instance, which we just released, I mean, that has some aspects of the Kevin John Legacy series in it, because we've learned from the Kevin John Legacy series. The Vanya 2016, a little bit different in that it's a 100% amphora fermentation. We get our amphoras from Italy, and we've tried to make them ourselves, but we haven't had success yet. We'd like to make with our own clay from our own vineyard, but yeah, at the moment we've got the beautiful artisanal Italian ones that are lined with our own beeswax from our own honey and honeybees, our own very own honeybees for the most part. And so this one's the 16. It's a lovely sort of Cabernet glass there. It's a lower alcohol, 12.5%, and I love this wine because of its purity and detail. And today, on this day, it's looking absolutely amazing. It's just got these wonderful sort of violets and roses, and just this whole sort of compote of beautiful Cabernet flavors. And more than anything else, this takes to the heart of the vineyard why and what we're doing here. Mum and I always had a bit of a disagreement about, she loved the blend, she loved Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Malbec, Petit Verdot, and I really have a great love for varietal Cabernet Sauvignon. So in 2012, when we just chose, it came about because the wine was there. It wasn't really because we thought we're going to make a super iconic Cabernet, or wow, this is about time. With the 30 years of working, with having the privilege of working the 30 years on this vineyard, it was just like in 2012 there was a wine there that was different, and it was better. It was just different, and it had all the completeness that we needed in a wine to create another level. So in 2012 we just made it as that and selected the best batches for the wine, and since then we've made it as 100% amphora ferment. So smaller batches, and then we have wines that are just of that day and of that time in place, and you know, I think this one had 86 days on skins in the amphora, and it's got a lower sulfur dioxide, so it's got all of these different things of making it a really great example of a natural wine at an iconic level. So we smell the wine. It's got roses, violets. It has yeah, that wonderful plum and strawberry and red fruits. It's just incredibly aromatic. And on the palate you've got that very soft, surprisingly soft profile. The long time on skins in amphora makes the wine softer and lighter in character, but by no means a wine which won't age. And I think as particularly the 16 seems to me, it started off a little bit close, but it's just getting, it's like the 16 Dinah Madeline, just as more time they just get more and more open and really alive and vibrant, and you get that concentration of flavour of that vintage, which is so elegant and aromatic in character. So you have that, it takes you straight to that land of the, you know, the gravel and the granite and all of that subsoil of the laterite, the 100% laterite, and then the topsoil. You have those beautiful roots in the biodynamic soils, which are so alive. And you know, and it's really amazing on a day like today to have the rain, because it's been raining all day. We've had over 10 mil. Then to have this incredible sort of ability to do this tasting. Well, it feels like a Friday, but it's Thursday because we've got Easter Friday tomorrow. So yeah, it's a really wonderful thing to be able to be here, and that's a nice thing about being not being able to leave Margaret River, is to be able to be here and to be present to these wines and this beautiful place. So we look forward to when the time comes to welcome you back to the veranda. And in the meantime, have a happy, safe Easter. And if you have any questions, please just put it on Instagram, and happy to answer anyone's questions. Thanks, stay safe, and have a happy Easter.